Cloudy afternoon here in San Luis Obispo as we get you set for Game 1 against the Santa Barbara Foresters and the first CCL game for the SLO Blues this season. As we welcome you inside the broadcast booth for today's pregame show. Mark Robinson, as always, joining me here, getting you all ready for Game 1 of Blues versus the Santa Barbara Foresters. And Mark, I know this game goes a little bit beyond baseball. This is a heated rivalry that goes back multiple decades. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, we are looking at a very strong rivalry in the CCL today. Santa Barbara Foresters against the SLO Blues. Two Central Coast teams who have always batted heads and had fierce competition with one another ever since the teams started playing each other. So, obviously the Blues founded in 1946, way long back. Foresters, a little more recent, founded in 1991, and ever since then they have always had a very fierce, strong rivalry. Looking back at some of the history between this team, all the times they faced each other, I wasn't able to get a full-on all-time record of the two teams, but I was able to do a little bit of digging, and I found the long-time record starting in 2012 with no games played in 2020, probably due to COVID, and no scores in 2019. I don't know if someone just wasn't doing their job down in Santa Barbara. But all-time record between these two teams, 31-42, like I said, with the logs dating back all the way to 2012. Like I said, one of the biggest rivalries in the CCL, if you ask me, only an hour and a half away from each other. We're drawing up tons of Forester fans here at Sinsheimer who are very rowdy and love to be up here loud, rooting for their team. And every time these two teams come up and face each other, we are watching some darn good baseball. Very fierce competition, very good baseball. I'm very excited for this rivalry to kick off, as well as for the CCL to kick off. I'm very excited to see some league games get played and start looking at some games that actually matter for the playoffs and the regular season scope.
Yeah, absolutely right, Mark. These games are starting to matter a little bit more for the Blues. They played a non-conference against the Santa Maria Indians last night. They'll do so again tomorrow, but this is Game 1 of CCL play between these two teams right here. And yeah, you're right, Mark. This fierce rivalry is always fun to watch. It's always an explosive offense for Santa Barbara, not to mention their pitching as well. They got a guy topping out at 100 miles per hour on the bump today for the Foresters. But I think last year the Blues were able to step it up multiple times when they played against the Foresters. Whether they were going through an offensive slump, they couldn't figure it out on the mound. It just seemed like every time they played Santa Barbara, they would straighten it out, and they did so, winning 4 of 5 games against the Foresters. And they're trying to dig into that losing record they have against that Santa Barbara, the 31-42 that you said, and that all starts today here at Sinsheimer.
It sure does. Dating back to 2012, record between these two teams was in the favor of the Blues, 10-2. 12 games on the season. I'm hoping to see another season like that. A lot of wins on the Blues side, which can help push us into a good spot for the playoffs at the end of the summer here. And I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, we could be seeing something like that, especially with some new additions to the Blues rosters. There's actually 2 of them in today's lineup. And Mark, why don't you tell us about our newcomers at Sinsheimer?
Yeah, we've got 2 brand new boys in blue for the Blues tonight. I'm very excited to see both of these boys in action tonight. Sebastian Lopez is from University of Seattle, batted a 143 on his first season, and then he actually redshirted this last season. 143 on 14 ABs, 16 games played, was slugging a 214. What are you looking for out of this guy? What do you think he's going to be able to do for the Blues?
I think Sebastian had a really good approach out there in batting practice. He was spraying it to all parts of the field. Really consistent sound of the bat there in the bubble. But what I'm mostly looking forward to is his glove over there at third base. He was really smooth taking ground balls from the coach Max Lober off the fungo, and he just looked really nice. It was a really fluid motion you talked about earlier in the season. Players having to slow their hands and their heads down a little bit, and I think Sebastian Lopez can lead the charge there, hopefully trying to fix the error problem that this defense has had so far this season.
Definitely, and that's such a key thing to look for in warm-ups too. I mean, I feel like a lot of the time we're mainly focusing on what these guys are hitting, what they're slugging, what their ERA is, and all that stuff. Taking a look at the way they're playing in the field is just as important, and I love being able to talk about that because it matters so much in the long run. You have to make those crucial plays, and to be able to have someone that can do that and can have just fluidness in the way that he plays matters a lot for getting a win and getting a good start against this team, especially kicking off the CCL today.
And that's been especially important for the Blues as well, because they've been booting the ball around. They've been putting up at least an error or two a game, but what's been bailing them out is their offense. They'll put up a balloon inning, and like last night with those 8 runs, and they'll come through with the win. That is not a very sustainable model, especially against a team like Santa Barbara, where those mistakes are going to hurt 10 times more if you do boot a ball away.
Definitely.
So I think Sebastian Lopez will help out the defense, round some things out in the field.
Yes, and I love what you mentioned about the balloon innings. I've been loving seeing those this season. I was down in the dugout doing some social media sideline reporting stuff, and I was talking to all the guys. Yesterday's game was smooth sailing. We were moving so fast, and then all of a sudden just cranked the e-brake. What was it, like a 7 or 8 run inning, middle of the game?
Yeah.
Just like same kind of vibe as the first game against the Indians. Most of the players were kind of just like, let's get this moving.
And it was a scary one for a second. It was a 2-1 ball game.
Yeah.
They were playing very close with the Indians, and I think everyone in the Blues dugout was kind of waiting for that moment to happen, that offensive explosion that will get them ready for today's game.
Yes, we need to see more of that on offense tonight, and I'm very excited to see them face such a great team that Santa Barbara Foresters is. Moving into our other new blue, you might say, for tonight's game, Cooper Witten, the sophomore from the University of Washington, just up the coast 2 states over, posted a 200 batting average last season and a 213 this season. Listen to this, Nate. In his first season, he had 3 RBIs. In his last season, he had 22 RBIs. So obviously he made a big change, did a lot of things to improve the offensive side of his game, moving from his freshman to his sophomore season at UW. And it also looks like he had a grand slam versus UCLA.
He did.
Which is such a cool thing to add to the baseball resume, if you ask me. What are you looking to see out of Witten?
Cooper Witten, I saw him down that batting practice, and let me tell you, this kid is a physical specimen. It's clear that he can scorch the baseball. Taking a look at his season last year, he hit a home run, his first collegiate home run. It was 111 miles per hour off the bat, going 332 feet. And, of course, that grand slam that you talked about, Mark. And he called game against number 12, University of Arizona, who eventually hosted a regional this year, earlier in the season in the 13th inning with a walk-off single. So this is a guy who can certainly produce with the bat. His only issue was the strikeouts. He did strike out 48 times and 122 at-bats. So where you're getting the power, you're taking away on the strikeouts. So I think this summer Witten is just going to try to work on keeping his at-bats consistent, keeping the results consistent, and still hitting with some power as well.
That's going to be really interesting to see today because we've got a lot of strong pitchers on the other side for the Foresters tonight. And, you know, the difference between metal bat and wood bat league is just such a fun difference to watch.
Absolutely.
I was talking to a buddy of mine who plays club baseball here, and he was kind of knocking the Blues at first, talking about how he's like, we hit like 4 home runs in our club game here. He didn't realize it was a wood bat league. But seeing that switch and seeing Witten go up against those awesome Santa Barbara pitchers is going to be really fun. I think there's just so much to look forward to in this game tonight as we start to see the players get warmed up, get ready to go. I'm loving the uniforms on the other side tonight. I must say, they are cool.
Santa Barbara toting the royal blue unis, the Blues in their classic pinstripes with the navy blue going down the middle. First pitch coming up in just about 10 minutes. That just about wraps it up here for our pregame show. Mark Robinson, thank you as always for joining me in the broadcast booth.
My pleasure. Excited to be back tomorrow for some Sunday mimosa baseball days.
We'll see you back in 10 minutes.
make slow blue baseball plastic. Fresh paint color, Geo Solutions, Over Debt, Guaranteed Rate, High Street Deli, and Horizon Realty and Property. Thanks for your support.
Yeah, guys, remember to have fun and just sing your little hearts out. And don't sing too loud. You're loud enough.
Thanks to all the sponsors that help make Slow Blues baseball, including Loras College, Leah and Gray's Engineering, Left Coast T-Shirt Company, Long Crier Associates, Madonna Inn, and me hanging out with you guys. Thank you for your support. It is the principle of the San Luis Obispo Blues to foster a family-friendly atmosphere, allowing for the continued growth of quality baseball experience here on the Central Coast. To that end, spectators are asked to support their team in a positive manner and treat opposing fans and players with respect. Profanity, racial slurs, or otherwise unruly behavior will not be tolerated, and violators will be removed from the facility. We thank you in advance for your cooperation. And now the Blues are proud to announce today's free foul ball group, Coastal Pediatric. Representing Coastal Pediatric tonight is 11-year-old Blake from Morro Bay for the first pitch. All right, Blake. See what you got. There's the pitch. Thank you very much, Blake, and to our free foul sponsors, Coastal Pediatric. And now the starting lineup for the visiting Santa Barbara Foresters. Batting first, Daniel Patterson. Second, Drew Marple. Batting third, Johnny Rodriguez. Batting fourth, Dominic Smaldini. Fifth, Ryan Taylor. Sixth, Jesse DiMaggio. Seventh, Jack Bollinger. second baseman, Jake Higginson-Roth. Batting third, right fielder, Jariah Lewis. And batting fourth, Brendan Comerford, your first baseman. Batting fifth, shortstop, Braden Mondo. Batting sixth, left fielder, Cooper Whitten. Batting seventh, third baseman, Sebastian Lopez. Batting eighth, catcher, Owen Estabrook. And batting ninth, the DH, Giovanni Blanchett. The Blues are led by Dean Trainer, assisted by Brian Trainer, Renee Regalazzi, Mason Alex, Max Lover, and Robbie Lochner. Singing the national anthem for us today is Central Coast Youth Chorus. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and kindly remove your hats. Thank you, Central Coast Youth Chorus. Now taking the field for the Blues, Brendan Comerford at first base, Jake Higginson-Roth second, Sebastian Lopez at third, and Braden Mondo at shortstop. And now field, Cooper Whitten left, Ethan Rowe in center, and Jariah Lewis in right field. Your catcher is Owen Estabrook, and taking the mound is your pitcher, Cody Albright.
Game number 9 of this 10-game homestand to begin this season at Sinsheimer Stadium in the Blues' 77th year of existence in the CCL. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the broadcast booth. My name is Nate Mills, calling the balls, strikes, and many more tonight for your SLO Blues on the SLO Blues streaming network. Let's get you prepped for this matchup against the Santa Barbara Foresters and the San Luis Obispo Blues. We'll take a look at the batting order for the Foresters today. Leading off, it's Daniel Patterson, and batting second, it's Drew Markle. At third, it's Johnny Rodriguez. In the cleanup spot, it's Dominic Smaldino. Batting fifth, it's the former Blue and Grover Beach native Ryan Taman. Batting sixth, it's Jesse DiMaggio. Seventh, it's Jack Bollinger. Eighth, it's Caden Peterson. And number 9, D. Kennedy. That's the starting offensive lineup for the Santa Barbara Foresters. And now let's take a look at around the defense for your SLO Blues. Doing the catching behind the dish, it's Owen Estabrook. Playing first, it's Brendan Comerford. At second, Jake Higginson-Roth, typically playing left, making the move into the infield. At third, making his Blues debut, it's Sebastian Lopez. Braden Mondeau is back at shortstop, with Cooper Whitten making his debut in left field. E.J. Royal in center, and Jariah Lewis in right field. The starter for tonight for San Luis Obispo, it's Cody Albright, just a kid from Arizona, the chillest dude in America, making his third start for the Blues, and he's looking to throw up a bunch of Ks as he does so well early on in this season. And the reason I call him the chillest dude in America is because he just keeps it simple. Fastball, 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 till they can hit it, then he'll come at you with the slider. And here's the first pitch from Albright to the leadoff batter, in Patterson. It's in there for strike one. First pitch is at 4:03 p.m. And the weather to begin the game, it's 65 degrees and cloudy. 0-1 to Patterson. Missing outside on that fastball for ball one. Patterson, a local guy from Westmont College, actually a native of Round Rock, Texas, entering his season year with the Warriors at Westmont as he spoils this one right side out of play. 1-2 to the Santa Barbara Foresters' third baseman. This past season, he had a statistical jump from his first 2 years at Westmont, batting a .376 average. Here he goes on the 1-2, taps it right side. Hicksonbaugh's got it on the hop. Flip over to first just in time to retire Patterson. So the first out on the inning is a soft hit ground ball to the right side. And now that gives way to Drew Markle, the center fielder for the Foresters. Markle, also a native of Texas, from Katy, Texas, a graduate of Tompkins High School, and just spent his first season last year as a Rebel from Ole Miss. Before he went to Ole Miss, he was the number 4 ranked shortstop out of high school in Texas. Albright kicks and fires, first pitch swinging, and he flares this one out of play. He played in 17 games his first year as a Rebel, only 10 ABs, just 1 hit to show for it. Albright, deep breath, now kicks and fires on the 0-1. Fastball just missing outside for ball one. Once again with that fastball, that's the only pitch we've seen so far from the junior college right-hander and Arizona native Cody Albright. Albright kicks and deals, yanking that fastball again for ball two. 2-1 to the center fielder from Katy, Texas. Infield playing back. Corners at regular depth on the 2-1 from Albright. Taps it straight back into the netting for strike two. 2-2 to Drew Markle, the center fielder from Ole Miss. A part of that explosive lineup for the Santa Barbara Foresters. He's batting second today. Lots of Big 12 talent, but this kid's from the SEC. Players from all over the country on the 2-2 as that one skips in the dirt for ball three. Markle entering his sophomore season at Ole Miss. And he finds himself battling against Cody Albright on the 3-2 count. Albright, payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. There's the first K from Cody Albright, and the second out of this inning. He sits down Drew Markle as he climbs up the ladder on that fastball for strike three. 2 up, 2 down for the Santa Barbara Foresters. And if you're able to tame this potent lineup, you're going to be in good shape of whatever opposing team you are. So now it's Johnny Rodriguez, the first baseman, batting third for Santa Barbara. First pitch swinging, taps it straight back into the netting for strike one. Rodriguez, a California native from Fullerton, entering his sophomore season as a dirtbag from Long Beach State. Left-handed hitting first baseman, batted .219 this past season, slugging .344, 2 homers, 2 doubles. 0-1 fastball in there for strike two. Quickly jumping ahead is Cody Albright against Johnny Rodriguez. Dominic Smaldino on deck, the right fielder in the 4 spot. Long hold from Albright. Finally kicks and deals on the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. 3 up, 3 down for the Santa Barbara Foresters. 2 strikeouts for Cody Albright. We'll head to the bottom of the first on the Slow Blues streaming network. Back in action here in the bottom of the first inning, as we'd like to introduce to you the starting lineup for the SLO Blues. Leading off once again, E.J. Royal. That's the 8th time this season he's done so. Batting second and returning in this spot is Jake Hicksonbaugh. And the third hole, it's Jariah Lewis. Batting fourth, it's Brendan Comerford. Fifth, it's Braden Mondew. And sixth, Cooper Witten. Seventh, Sebastian Lopez, both making their Blues debuts. Eighth, it's Owen Estabrook. And ninth, it's Giovanni Blanchette returning to that DH spot after homering against the Solano Mudcats in day 2. Now here's the defensive alignment for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Ryan Taman calling the balls and strikes. At first base, it's Johnny Rodriguez. Playing second, it's Jack Bollinger. At third, it's Daniel Patterson. And at short, it's D. Kennedy. Now for the outfield and left field, it's Caden Peterson. In center field, we have Drew Markle. And playing right, it's Dominic Smaldino. On the mound for the Santa Barbara Foresters, it's Max Bixby, the TCU Horned Frog and opening day starter for Santa Barbara. And the tools are certainly there for the 6'7" right-hander entering his sophomore season in college. A San Antonio native who had a 4.50 ERA and 18 innings pitched in Big 12 play and 26 strikeouts in that time. And you want to talk about some tools. This kid topped out at 100 miles an hour this season in college play. Typically sits around the 95, 96 area. And in warm-ups, he was sitting 93 to 95, so not too far off from what has been advertised on social media and Prospect Wire websites. It's a surprise that he wasn't taken in high school in the draft. But we have our answer. As his senior season, he completely sat out due to an injury. Fastball from E.J. Royal going underneath his elbows for ball 1. And the command has been a bit of an issue for Bixby, walking 15 in 18 innings as his time with the Horned Frogs. Tapping it straight back is E.J. Royal, count now even at 1-1. Looking at our statisticians here, and that first pitch to Royal was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-1. Royal takes a look at strike 2. Bit of a jump from what the Blues saw yesterday against the Santa Maria Indians. Pitchers were living in the low 80s with flying saucer breaking stuff, living in the mid-70s. So what they're seeing on the mound today is night and day from last night. Late swing, chops it right in front of the Blues dugout, staying alive with 2 strikes against the flamethrower in Mason Bixby. E.J. Royal last game against Santa Maria was 2 for 5, a double, a single, 2 stolen bases, and 2 runs scored. Showing off those bat-to-ball skills early on in this season. 1-2, sent out to center field, softly hit, and playable in the infield. Kennedy squeezes it as the wind bats it down for out number 1. E.J. Royal caught that one off the end of the bat, got under a little bit too. Looked like Markle had a play on it, and it just died in the middle of the air. Kennedy had to make that catch on the run. So 1 out after the pop out to the Texas shortstop. And now it's Jake Hicksonbaugh who makes his return to the lineup and plays second base for the first time this season. Hasn't played the infield since early last year with the Blues. And he takes a look at strike 1 from Bixby. This season, Hicksonbaugh batting a .388 clip in 27 plate appearances. 4 RBIs as well for the left-hander from Monterey Peninsula College. Fastball just hitting the outside edge for strike 2. Hicksonbaugh in game 2 against the Solano Mudcats, the last time he played, went 2 for 3. As that pitch to Hicksonbaugh was a 97-mile-an-hour heater. 0-2, swing and miss, strike 3. There's a second out of the inning off the swinging K from Jake Hicksonbaugh. Fastball just blew it right by him. And Mason Bixby, already with these 2 batters, has been as advertised. That fastball is just deadly, and the slow hitters are going to have to figure out how to catch up with it. As Jariah Lewis, the right fielder from San Jose State, digs in, the 3rd batter of this inning. Brendan Comerford follows him on deck. But Lewis is 2 for 5 on the season as he flares this one to left field. Peterson ranging underneath it, and he'll grab it for the 3rd out of the inning. So Mason Bixby goes 3 up, 3 down, and gets a strikeout against Jake Hicksonbaugh. As we head into the top of the 2nd, this is Nate Mills for the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Middle of the order for the Santa Barbara Foresters after Cody Albright went 3 up, 3 down against this offense to begin this game. And he'll first face Dominic Smaldino, the right fielder, as that slider's in there for a strike. And Cody Albright, last time he made an appearance for San Luis Obispo, was a start against the Solano Mudcats. Just went 4 innings pitched, only allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, and 7 strikeouts. 0-1 slider skipping in the dirt for ball 1. That's been Albright's specialty so far this season, retiring batters via the strikeout, and he's just been challenging them with the fastball. Interesting to see how his approach to these hitters will change. As a lot of guys up and down, 1 through 9, have a resume of doing damage on that fastball. Here's the 1-1. Another fastball missing away for ball 2. Dominic Smaldino, the 4-hitter for the Santa Barbara Foresters, is a rising sophomore at Cal Berkeley. A graduate of J. Sarah High School down there in Orange County. 2-1 fastball missing upstairs. 3 balls and 1 strike to the 4-hitter from San Juan Capistrano. In his first season as a Golden Bear, he batted .256 with a .487 slugging and a .326 on base. 3-1. Spoiled straight back for strike 2. And those 10 hits he had in his first season, 3 of them were home runs. So some serious power coming from the outfielder. Struck out 12 times last season and 39 at-bats as he's there on the 3-2, and he strikes out right here. Cody Albright climbs the ladder and collects his 3rd strikeout of the game. And this is what he does best. Albright climbing the ladder here, and he gets a very uncomfortable swing from Dominic Smaldino at a fastball right at his eyes. So Smaldino's retired for the first out of the inning, and now the former Blue and Ryan Taman digs in now. He's doing the catching for Santa Barbara today. Fastball missing high for ball 1. Taman, also a rising sophomore at Cal Berkeley. 67 at-bats for the native of Grover Beach. 17 hits. And in those 17 hits, how about this? 6 homers and 2 doubles. Taman saying, anything you can do, Smaldino, I can do better. That's good for a .552 slugging with a .254 average. 2-0 to him, missing low and away for ball 3. 3 straight balls from Cody Albright after striking out the right fielder from Cal Berkeley. Taman had very limited action last summer with the Blues. He only had 11 at-bats and recorded 2 hits in that time, including a double. 3-0, taking all the way for strike 1. That a double was a 2 RBI double early in the season for San Luis Obispo. Left the Blues to play for a different league after a few games as he chops this one down the third base line. High bouncing, but letting it go foul is Sebastian Lopez. So a 3-2 count now to the Cal Berkeley catcher, who graduated from Arroyo Grande High School and was also named Athlete of the Year from SLO County in the spring of 2022. And this is the third 3-2 count that Cody Albright has found himself in. Not a typical resting spot from the right-hander from Arizona. Fastball missing low for ball 4. So there's the first base runner of this game for the Foresters. And now that gives way to Jesse DiMaggio, the DH, batting 6th. Nice at bat there from Ryan Taman to spoil away some pitches. And now he'll reach first base off the walk. First pitch swinging, fouled straight back out of play. 0-1 to Jesse DiMaggio. DiMaggio, a Santa Barbara native, committed to Westmont College next year. Had just a ludicrous season at Dos Pueblos High School last year. Albright on the 0-1. Swings and pops this one up. Comerford calling everyone off. Squeezes it for the second out of the inning. More on that season next time DiMaggio comes back up. Leaving you guys on a cliffhanger there. So DiMaggio pops out to the first baseman in Comerford, and there's the second out of the inning. Ryan Taman still at first via the walk, and now it's Jack Bollinger, the second baseman, digging in for Santa Barbara. Fellow Warrior at Westmont College down in Santa Barbara, entering his senior season and his third university in undergrad. Albright gets him on strike one. Left-handed hitting outfielder from Santa Cruz, batting .311 last year in his first season in Santa Barbara. 0-1 fastball missing away for ball one. Got a plethora of playing time last season with 164 at-bats. Was able to put together that .311 average, a .383 on base, and a .341 slugging. 1-1, fouled straight back. Now 1-2 to the former Sac State Hornet and Cabrillo College Seahawk. After graduating high school in Santa Cruz, where he grew up, he went to Sac State and was the all-WAC tournament team as a freshman. As he pops this one up, towering but still in play, and no one's going to get there. Another life there for Jack Bollinger, and we'll do it again at 1-2. And before he became a Hornet, he was the Defensive Player of the Year his senior season. And at Sac State, he played in 37 games, 15 hits, and 81 at-bats. And now he's here on a 1-2 count with a runner on first base, a short lead from Taman as this one spoiled away again. Another foul ball to Jack Bollinger. Staying alive with 2 strikes as Albright looks to collect his 4th in 2 innings of work. Last season, Bollinger struck out 24 times and 164 at-bats. Here's the 1-2. Swings and shoots this one to the left side. Nice easy play from Mondu. He flips it to Hicksonbaugh for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Forsters go quietly in the second. Albright gets his 3rd strikeout of the game. We'll head to the bottom of this inning, 0-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. I'd like to remind you that the bottom of the second inning is brought to you by Richardson. They are sponsoring the ball caps of the CCL this season. Every player and every team this year will be wearing a Richardson branded hat, including both of the teams right here. The Santa Barbara Foresters and the SLO Blues opening up CCL play here with a 0-0 ball game as Comerford is first pitch swinging and fouls this one back above the press box for strike one. Last inning, the Blues went 1-2-3 against the flamethrower Max Bixby, right-hander from Texas Christian University. He got up to 97 miles an hour. 0-1 blows it right by Comerford for strike two. And I spoke with hitting coach Rene Regalado before today's game. They got a good scouting report on this kid here, Mason Bixby. Hard not to when there's so many statistics available at a school like Texas Christian. 0-2, strike 3 called. Mason Bixby sits down Brendan Comerford for the first out of this inning. And they were able to see a lot of hints from Bixby. One of them being that his fastball, while high in velocity, is low in the movement. And that's ideal for the hitters. That gives them a chance to throw the barrel out at it and make some contact and let the high velocity do all of the work. And so far, within the first inning and a third, it seems like the hitters are trying to supply all the power, as there's another big swing from Braden Mondew, the shortstop, in the transfer portal. But Rene Regalado, his essential message to these ball players today during batting practice was to just shorten it up. A phrase he likes to use is show the pitcher the knob of the bat. 0-1, another swing and a miss from Mondew. Quickly down 0-2 to Mason Bixby. And last night, Mondew against the Santa Maria Indians was 1 for 3. Got a base knock, 2 walks, and came around to score. One of the 10 runs that San Luis Obispo put up last night. Finds himself here on the 0-2. Fastball missing outside for ball 1. And it's just zipping into the mitt of Ryan Taman behind home plate. Also learned that he's about 86% fastball, Mason Bixby is, and he will rarely come through with the changeup. Secondary pitch we're most likely to see is the slider, as there's the fastball sent down the right field line and foul. Mondew tried to go the opposite way, and this one flared towards the line. When it was in the air, it was looking like it was going to land foul, but when you're a right-handed hitter and you go the opposite way with the ball, that play in right field, it starts to spin a lot, and it ended up landing in foul territory as Smaldino is now hugging the line in right field. Playing awfully close as well. 1-2 to Mondew. Chops it to Rene Regalado, who moves to his right and can't get there. Regalado, the hitting coach and third base coach for San Luis Obispo, back out there in action today. Mason Alex, the first base coach for the Blues. As Cooper Witten, the left fielder, waits on deck, the UW Husky making his slow Blues debut. 1-2 to Mondew. Fastball skipping away for ball 2. And that's another aspect of Bixby's game, is trying to find the strike zone. It's going to be his challenge today, as he can light it up with the fastball, but can he corral it enough to be effective against these slow Blues hitters? 15 walks in 18 innings pitched in his Big 12 season. Here he is on the 2-2. Mondew fouling it straight back, staying alive with 2 strikes. The former BYU Cougar who redshirted last season, his first year in Utah. Now back in the transfer portal after it opened up on Monday earlier this week. Before that, he spent time at Pima Community College in Arizona, where he's from. 2-2, pops it straight up in the air. Going back is Smaldino. He camps underneath it, squeezes it for the second out of the inning. So a quality at bat from Braden Mondew, but it's not the result that him or the Blues were looking for. A pop out to Smaldino. And if he hit that just a little lower, I think it might have gone over the right fielder's head, based on how close he was playing towards the infield and how much he was hugging the line. There could have been a chance there for just a bloop single. But it results in an out and 2 quick outs for Mason Bixby as Cooper Witten digs in for his first time in a Blues uniform. The left fielder from San Diego, California, as the first pitch clanks off the knee of Ryan Taman for ball 1. Witten, a graduate of Santa Fe Christian in San Diego. He's entering his junior season as a Husky at UW. Bixby long hold now comes on the 1-0. Fouling it straight back is Witten. Witten in high school played in the Perfect Game National Showcase. And as his time as a Husky has certainly showcased power. Talked about on the pregame show, 5 home runs and 1 double his last season up there in Seattle. 1-1, here's Bixby. Fastball skipping in the dirt for ball 2. Now, Winton certainly has the ability to hit the ball very hard. Was able to see that myself in batting practice, and you can also look at the numbers. Taking a look at Twitter and what the University of Washington was posting. He hit his first college home run at 111 miles an hour. 2-1, checks his swing in there for a strike. 111 and 432 feet. Also hit a grand slam against UCLA. He hit that one 420 feet, 109 miles per hour. Here he is on the 2-2. Swing and miss, strike three. Mason Bixby picks up his third strikeout of the game at the hands of Cooper Witten as the Blues go 1-2-3 again as we head into the top of the third. This is Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network.
Also, will continue serving remote.
8-9-1 for the Santa Barbara Foresters as Cody Albright heads back out there for his third inning of work. So far this game, he's only allowed one base runner from a walk by Ryan Taman. And here he is on the 0-0 count to Caden Peterson. 3 strikeouts so far from Cody Albright. That's his specialty. He loves to get himself the K, and he's got 3 so far in 2 innings of work. Grounder, softly hit, right side. Comerford's got it himself. He'll tap first base, and there's the first out of the inning. Quickly launching it into the throw around is Brendan Comerford after retiring Caden Peterson on 1 pitch. 9-hole hitter D. Kennedy, a rising sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas. He played his last season with the Longhorns up there in Austin. He started in 40 games for Texas. 4 home runs, 5 doubles, and a triple in 28 hits. And Kennedy takes a look at ball 1. Has to be acting as some sort of a second leadoff man for the Foresters, as this infielder is rather toolsy for Santa Barbara. This one softly hit to Mondu, has to catch it on the run. Throw to Comerford is in time for the second out of the inning. 3 pitches, 2 outs for Cody Albright, and it's not enough to catch the speedy D. Kennedy, as we'll flip to the top of the order to Daniel Patterson, who grounded out to short his last time up. Patterson, the third baseman from Westmont College, had a great season last year for the Warriors. 376 average, a 746 slugging. 18 home runs. That's a program record at Westmont for a single season round tripper. Albright comes on the 1-0. Patterson takes the fastball outside for ball 1. And last season, Patterson played for the Foresters as well in the summer. He also played in the showcase game down there in Compton along with Gio Blanchette and Theo Hardy, last year's representatives of the Blues. As this one skied in the infield, Lopez calling everyone off. He'll grab it with 2 hands, and there's 3 outs. 3 up, 3 down for the Santa Barbara Foresters, and Cody Albright can just two-step it into the dugout as we head into the bottom of the third. This is Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the third inning, and now would be a good time to remind you that this half inning is brought to you by Plan Perfect Retirement. Be sure to contact Sherry Tollerman at planperfectretirement.com. Plan Perfect, corporate retirement plan specialists. Sebastian Lopez leads off for the Blues here as the bottom of the order will get things underway in the bottom of the third. Still a 0-0 ball game. And Lopez takes a look at ball two to Mason Bixby. Heads out there after 16 pitches, his first 2 innings of work. And he's just been going fastball, just as we predicted. The scouting report said 86% fastball, and that's certainly what we've seen here so far. Only 1 slider thrown at 86 miles an hour. Didn't have too much movement going left to right. Lopez takes the 2-0 fastball for strike 1. I talked to Rene Regalado looking at the film at Mason Bixby. He doesn't have the conventional sweeping slider that we typically see in the modern game. Has a bit more of a bite action to it, going north to south on the hitters. If it starts in the middle of the zone, it's going to break down and out of the zone from Mason Bixby, but the Blues hitters haven't have to worry about that secondary pitch too much as he's just trying to beat him with the heater. 3-1 is sent the other way, but foul. Lopez playing third base today for the SLO Blues, making his debut after redshirting his sophomore season at Seattle University. After growing up in Henderson, Nevada. Here's 3-2 to Sebastian. Swings and taps this one. Kennedy's got it, and he can't handle it at short. An error from D. Kennedy, and Sebastian Lopez reaches first. There's the first base runner for the Blues. And it looks like his feet were just moving a little too fast for his hands as he fielded it cleanly, but as he was trying to transfer it, he lost control of it, and Sebastian was able to get there safely. So an error from D. Kennedy, and now Owen Estabrook, yesterday's birthday boy, steps in for San Luis Obispo, the catcher from Columbia. Estabrook from Santa Barbara, but playing here in front of a home crowd at San Luis Obispo. With one runner on, playing up closely on the infield grass is Patterson. Is taken off for second is Lopez. Here comes the throw and the head first slide, and he's out. Gunned down by Ryan Taman as Lopez got a decent jump, but that throw back there by Taman just gunned him down by at least 2 steps. Here he is taken off, and just a real good transition from Ryan Taman over to Bollinger at second base. So now just like that, one out here in the second inning to Owen Estabrook, who swings and misses at the fastball for strike two. And that's really got to hurt for the Blues. In the first two innings, they've struggled to get any sort of action happening on the base paths. That was their first runner of the day, and it came off that error from Kennedy. You want to capitalize on those mistakes as much as possible. Swinging and missing at the fastball, elevated for strike three. So there's the fourth strikeout for Max Bixby, and there's two away here in the bottom of the third inning. So now the 9-hole guy, Giovanni Blanchette, doing the designated hitting tonight, takes a deep, long breath, a check swing, and digs into the batter's box. He's an outfielder from Fresno City College and a tenured Blues member. He played for San Luis Obispo last summer and spoils this one straight back into the netting. As I said last inning, he was one of the two players to represent the Blues on the South team in the CCL Showcase down there in Compton. Native of Fresno, went to St. Mary's his first season and then hit the transfer portal after a coaching change. And he spent last year at Fresno City College, still uncommitted. 0-1, there's a slider taken for ball one. As you can see from this angle, potentially, not a lot of horizontal movement from Bixby. Kind of biting up and down. 1-1 to Blanchette. Nubs this one, spinning, and Rodriguez comes and scoops it, flips it to Bixby, and that's the third out of the inning. So an error from Kennedy, but Sebastian Lopez gets thrown out, caught stealing, and the Blues go quietly once again as we head to the top of the fourth and say hello to Ryan Giacomini. I'm Nate Mills on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. Heart of the order for the Foresters, as it's still a 0-0 ball game heading into the middle third of action here at Sinsheimer Stadium on opening day of CCL play. Cody Albright heads back out there for his fourth inning of work as we say hello to color commentator Ryan Giacomini, who will be joining me the rest of the way through. Ryan, I mean, simply put, this is just a pitcher's duel.
Absolutely. Each pitcher with at least 3 strikeouts.
This one sent into center field. Royal comes in on it, makes the easy grab on the run for the first out of the inning.
Each pitcher with 3 strikeouts. Albright has 3. Bixby has 4. But one thing I'm liking out of Albright is he's getting quick outs here in these later innings. In the third, just a 7-pitch inning. Got Patterson in 2, Kennedy on 2, and then Peterson on 3. And now you get Marco on 1 pitch. He's really keeping that pitch count low. Could go deep into this game.
He's generating lots of soft contact as well. And this is a team, as I've said multiple times, lots of Big 12 experience, SEC experience, and some, don't sleep on those sluggers down there at Westmont College as well, the 2023 NAIA champions. But this is an organization known to bang the ball around the yard, and so far, bats on both sides have been going very quietly. So after the fly ball out from Drew Markle, it's Johnny Rodriguez, the first baseman who struck out swinging to end the first inning. Here he is up 2-0 to Cody Albright as he kicks and fires, and a high bouncer to Hicksonbaugh, who catches it right on the hop. Easy throw over to Comerford. for the second out of the inning.
Almost a little too nonchalant there from Hixenbaugh. Didn't expect Rodriguez to have all that speed coming down the first baseline.
Real good jump out of the box there, and I don't even think Hixenbaugh realized it. He got it off nonchalantly, but barely just in time to retire the first baseman.
Yeah, I've seen Hixenbaugh all summer take ground balls at second base, but hasn't actually seen game action in a while, so maybe just some adjustment.
Flared up and out of play on the first pitch to Dominic Smaldino, who began the second inning with a strikeout, one of the 3 victims to Cody Albright. After 2 quick outs, the Berkeley outfielder waves his bat in front of his face as Albright comes set. Shrugs his shoulders, now comes home on the 0-1. Slider in there for a strike.
Albright hasn't used that slider a lot and just caught the outer part of the plate.
Floating in there in the upper part of the zone, and Estabrook couldn't squeeze it, but here's the 0-2. Pop straight up, out of play again for Dominic Smaldino. And Albright has just been cruising through these Foresters hitters. Already getting 2 quick outs here in the top of the 4th inning after retiring Markle and Rodriguez back-to-back.
8 first pitch strikes for Albright in the 13 batters he's faced. Would love to keep that number where it is.
0-2, slider missing into the batter's box for ball 1. And that's the plan he wants. We talked to him before his starts, and he just wants strike 1. And strike 1 turning into 2, and then, of course, 3. And he has just perfectly been executing his plan in this early season.
Yeah, it's kind of funny with how nonchalant he is. He's like, I'm just going to throw fastball until they can't hit it. And today, they haven't been able to hit it, and he continues to throw it. We've seen very little of the slider, very little of the changeup.
It's just that easy, guys. Just throw 91 at dudes and just strike them out.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard.
Both pitchers are doing it.
Yeah.
Both are sitting in the 90s.
2-2. Chop left side. Sebastian has to go back on it, skips it in the dirt, and it gets past Comerford. Comerford can't pick it, and taken out for second base is Smaldino from the errant throw by Sebastian Lopez.
Really tough to play there for Lopez. Kind of got an in-between hop and decided to go back on it, and then had to make a strong throw across the diamond. Comerford did everything he could with the stretch to pick it out of the dirt, but was unsuccessful. And now the first real threat of the day for either team stands on second base in Smaldino.
You're right, the first runner in scoring position for either ball club today, and it comes off the error from Sebastian Lopez, as Dominic Smaldino is now in scoring position for Santa Barbara. Ryan Taman, who is this game's only base runner for SB, digs in now as he was awarded a walk back in the second inning, where he was eventually stranded off a pop out to first and grounder to shortstop. Here's the 1-0 to Taman, as taken off for third base is Smaldino. Throw down. That beat him way ahead, and there's the third out of the inning. Owen Estabrook guns down Smaldino to retire the side. We head to the bottom of the 4th, 0-0. I'm Nate Mills with Ryan Giacomini on the Slow Blues streaming network. Top of the order for the Blues here, as I want to remind you that this half inning is brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. You can find them at sdgarchitects.com. Studio Design Group Architects. For 40 years, they've designed buildings with one thing in mind: people. Fastball going over the glove of Taman for ball one of this at-bat. I talked about it last inning. It has just been a pitcher's duel as we're just cruising through this ball game here, entering the bottom of the fourth inning. A matchup between Bixby and Albright. 1-0, beating on the fastball is E.J. Royal.
Blues have had a really tough time with the velocity of Bixby, sitting 95, 96, topped out at 97 today. But second time through the order, they should have a better idea at what's coming.
Check swing from E.J. Royal, and there's strike two. And that's another thing we noticed on the scouting report as well from Mason Bixby. He likes to go up in the zone on that fastball. And as a hitter, when you're throwing that hard and that flat, it looks very enticing to the hitters. 1-2, shoots it straight back, and he'll stay alive with two strikes.
And we were talking to hitting coach Dean Trainer before the game. He said the game plan with someone who's throwing this hard, especially at this level, you don't really see pitching this fast at this level, is to eliminate the slider. Just as soon as you see it out the hand, don't swing at it. Make him come at you with the fastball.
1-2, blooped into shallow center. Marco, who was playing nearly in the infield, can take two steps in and make the grab. So Marco clearly did his scouting report, as he barely had to move to catch that fly ball from E.J. Royal. So there's the first out of the fourth inning here, and now Jake Hicksonbaugh, who struck out swinging last time, looks to be the spark plug for San Luis Obispo. First pitch taken outside for ball one. On deck, it's Jariah Lewis, who popped out to left last time he was up. Tied at 0, the bottom of the fourth, as Hicksonbaugh checks his swing on strike two. 1-on-1 against Mason Bixby. The dart thrower from Texas Christian. Bixby, long hold. Now kicks and fires on the 1-1. Fastball clipping the outer half of the zone for strike two. And Bixby has been excellent, so has Albright, but there is a pitcher in each bullpen warming up. 1-2 to Hicksonbaugh. Swings and misses, strike three. There's the fifth strikeout for Mason Bixby, and the second out of this inning.
Just cannot figure out that fastball. It's coming in so fast and can't get the barrel around quick enough to hit it.
And Jariah Lewis will look to see if he has a different plan in store, if he has any ideas on how to attack this fastball after popping out to left his last time up. Lewis, a current Spartan at San Jose State and a former Trojan from USC. First pitch spoiled back out of play for strike one. And Lewis in batting practice, a guy who likes to go the other way. He has the ability to hit it hard to all fields. But last night we really saw him get a hold of one after pulling a triple in the right center gap at 100 miles per hour against the Santa Maria Indians. Here he is on the 0-1. Blows it right by him on the fastball for strike two. So Jariah Lewis having to get creative here, going down quickly 0-2 against Mason Bixby. Lewis had 27 strikeouts this past season at San Jose State in 78 at-bats. Here he is on the 0-2, shooting it straight back above the restrooms. Staying alive here against the Horned Frog.
Bixby's been really efficient, too. This will just be his 50th pitch, and he's one strike away from getting out of the fourth inning.
Easy money for the Giant out there on the hill as he comes set. And now home on the 0-2. Lewis swings and misses, strike three. So there's the sixth K for Mason Bixby, and he struts back to the dugout. We'll head to the top of the fifth inning, scoreless. I'm Nate Mills with Ryan Giacomini on the Slow Blues streaming network. Top of the fifth inning, and we got ourselves a pitcher's duel, folks. Cody Albright at 50 pitches and Mason Bixby at 51, as we are just flying through this ball game scoreless heading into the fifth inning. First pitch is fouled out of play by Ryan Taman. Last inning for the Foresters, it was ended by a caught stealing from Dominic Smaldino. He was trying to take off for third and was gunned down by Owen Estabrook. Here's Taman on the 0-1, fastball upstairs, swings right through it. Taman, last time he was up, he walked and was left at first base in the second inning. One of two base runners for the Foresters today. Slider yanked in front of home plate for ball one. Cody Albright heads back out there for his fifth inning of work. Come set, now home. Slider just missing outside as Estabrook had to drop to a knee to get that one. 2-2 to the catcher from Cal Berkeley. Taman sways his arms in front of his face and pops this one straight up and out of play. Doing it again at 2-2.
Can't catch up with that Albright fastball even second time through. Taman did a good job to get ahead in the count, 3-0, and then walked after Albright threw two straight strikes. The only one of two base runners, for the Foresters.
2-2, chops it foul. Lopez to his right, but it's out of play. Taman being mentored by Caleb Lomavito, a potential first-rounder catcher from Cal Berkeley. I'm sure he's learned a lot through him this past season with the Golden Bears. Now he finds himself 2-2 against Cody Albright, and the fastball is in there for strike three. There's the fourth K of the day for Cody Albright, and that's how he starts out the fifth inning.
Some hot sauce for a fan here in the ballpark. Pretty sizable crowd today.
Fans are showing out amidst the gloomy weather in San Luis Obispo, uncharacteristically chilly and gray. If you just take a look at the past 4 days, it's been beautiful. Talk with a lot of players about what they did in their off time with the 4 days that the squad had off heading into this weekend. And the answers were pretty consensus across the board. Went to the beach, worked out, slept, hung out. 1-0 to DiMaggio is taken for ball two. DiMaggio, last time he was up, popped out to Brendan Comerford for the second out of the second inning. 2-0, sent straight back in front of the concession stand for strike one. DiMaggio DHing tonight, but he's an outfielder primarily, going to Westmont College next season. And I promised I'd talk about his crazy season last year, a .506 average with 10 home runs. Sends a chopper into the middle infield, and the diving attempt from Hixenbaugh, he can't get there. There's the first hit of this ball game, and it comes off the barrel from Jesse DiMaggio.
A pretty good piece of hit and just chopped it up the middle. Hixenbaugh ranged all the way to his right, laid out for it, but was unable to make the play. Like you mentioned, first hit of this ball game. We're in the top of the fifth inning.
The former Channel League MVP, after getting 42 hits in 83 at-bats his senior season at Dos Pueblos High School, collects a base hit here for the Foresters. First pitch to Jake Bollinger is taken for ball one. Bollinger was the second Forester to put the ball in play today. After grounding to Mondu at short, he made the flip over to Hixenbaugh for the 6'4 fielder's choice. This one's hard hit to right field. Tough play for Lewis. He's going to let that one drop right in front of him. A base hit for Jack Bollinger and back-to-back singles for the Santa Barbara Foresters.
Just picking up that Albright fastball now. Pretty good contact from Bollinger. Sent it the other way, still a little behind it.
And it was just hooking off the lefty barrel, dropping quickly in front of Jariah Lewis. Didn't want to try to be the hero and dive for that ball and give up free bases, so he just made the safe move and played it in front. kept the runners at their stations as there's now guys at first and second for Santa Barbara. Fastball missing in the dirt for ball one. It's Caden Peterson who had a slow roller to Brendan Comerford for the first out of last inning. Now he digs in for the second time today. The fellow Westmont Warrior. Albright checks second, now comes home. Fastball just missing low in the zone for ball two.
One thing Albright was so good at up until Taman was getting ahead in the count. First pitch strikes. First pitch ball to Jesse, DiMaggio, Bollinger, and Patterson.
Double take from Albright. Now he comes home on the 2-0. This one's sent into center field. Coming in on it is Royal, falling fast, and no one's going to get there. Sliding is Witten, and he keeps it in front. And everyone just goes up one station after the bloop single from Caden Peterson. There's 3 hits in a row from Santa Barbara after DiMaggio broke the seal with that single.
Like I mentioned, Albright just not getting ahead in the count, which has been his bread and butter so far. I mean, looking back at it, he didn't get ahead in the count to Taman in the second, gave up a walk. Now 3 straight batters here in the fifth that he hasn't got ahead of with that first pitch strike and 3 straight base hits.
So after striking out Taman looking, 3 hits in a row and bases loaded for D. Kennedy. Kennedy swings and misses for strike one. The shortstop and native of Fort Worth, Texas. He was an all-state infielder at Prestonwood Christian High School and was named District 8-4A Offensive MVP. 0-1 in there for a strike. Albright goes back to the fastball, and now Kennedy finds himself in an 0-2 count. Kennedy 17 RBI last season for the Longhorns off 28 hits. Wants to get a few here for his Foresters. 0-2, sent up and out of play. We'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes.
Now with that third hit, there's some action in the Blues bullpen, and it's Marco Cipolla.
Cipolla, the UC Colorado Cougar, getting hot for San Luis Obispo as Albright tries to work himself out of this jam. 0-2 slider missing away for ball one. Albright adjusts his jersey, spins the ball in his hands, and quickly gets back on the rubber. Corner infield playing in, middle infield playing at double play depth. Here's the 1-2. Slider missing outside. Now it's even at 2-2 to D. Kennedy.
Don't want to fall behind too much more. Hate to walk in a run at this point in the game. Just get it out over the plate. Let your defense work behind you.
He got a ground out to shortstop last time to D. Kennedy, hoping to do the same thing here and flip a double play. This one sent straight back and out of the stadium. And we'll stay at 2-2 to Kennedy. Tough part, though, if you do try to attempt to flip that double play, you have blazing speed coming out of the right-handed batter's box in D. Kennedy. He runs a 6'3", 60-yard dash. Unbelievable. 2-2, sent straight back and staying alive with 2 strikes. And bases juiced with 1 away here in the top of the 5th inning.
6'3" is crazy.
That's wild, man. I thought I had seen it all with Jordan Lewis of the Blues running that 6'5". D. Kennedy just one-upping him. 2-2 again from Albright. Here it comes, holding up on his swing off the breaking stuff in the dirt is Kennedy. Good set of peepers from the Texas shortstop.
Yeah, that was a really good pitch from Albright, going back-to-back fastballs to set him up and then going with the slider. Almost got Kennedy to go, but he read it at the last second, held up, and now he has to work out of a full count.
Dancing at third base is Jesse DiMaggio. He started this rally in the 5th inning. Jack Bollinger at second, Caden Peterson at first, all via a single. 2-2 wrapped down the line, but foul. It was a hot shot headed straight towards the third base coach for the Santa Barbara Foresters. But quickly getting back in the box is D. Kennedy.
10th pitch of the at-bat coming up.
A quab for the Texas native as Albright rests his shoulders on the payoff pitch. Blows it right by him for strike 3. Huge strikeout for Cody Albright. The bases are still loaded, and we head to the top of the order in Daniel Patterson.
Just blew the high heat right by him and won the battle of Kennedy and Albright. Now he has 2 outs. Ground out, a pop out, anything gets him out of this inning with no damage.
Mondu is standing in the outfield. Corners at regular depth as Patterson sends that one out of play for strike one. Daniel is currently 0 for 2 on the day. A grounder to short and a pop out to short. Rising senior at Westmont College and Texas native as he's late on that fastball for strike two. Cody Albright back to what he knows, getting up early 0-2 on the third baseman from Westmont. The Warrior bends his knees with 2 strikes. Here comes Albright, sent in the air, out of play. Another foul ball for the Santa Barbara hitters, and they've just been doing a great job this third time through the order, spoiling away the pitches from Cody Albright. Patterson awaits Albright's 0-2 offering. Here it comes. Swings and sends it to right field. Jariah Lewis gets it on the grab. Cody Albright sways back into the dugout after getting out of the bases loaded jam. It's still scoreless heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm Nate Mills with Ryan Giacomini on the Slow Blues streaming network. New pitcher in for the Santa Barbara Foresters, as now would be a good time to remind you that this inning is brought to you by Apex Technical Sales. You can find them at glenair-apex.com. Apex Technical Sales, we are here to make you successful. Jax Lewis, the native of Claxton, Georgia, steps into relief Mason Bixby as his day is over, accumulating 6 strikeouts, no earned runs, no hits against this Blues offense. The herky-jerky right-hander tosses that fastball in there for strike one against Brendan Comerford.
93 miles an hour.
1-1 to Comerford as he taps this one foul on the right of Patterson. Jax Lewis didn't appear in his last season at TCU due to an injury. As Comerford softly hits this one in shallow right field, and it's an easy play for Bollinger for the first out of the inning.
And I think Comerford just broke another bat.
He did, huh?
That was 2 yesterday, 1 today.
Yep.
He's really going to have a great bonfire tonight.
Well, a great bonfire, but maybe not, because he is more likely than not using the bats of his teammates. So I'm wondering how many scowls he's getting in the dugout within the past few days. First out of the inning, a broken bat line out to second base as this one sharply hit to Patterson at third. He has to recover on the throw and not in time to retire Braden Mondu, who was first pitch swinging off of Jax Lewis.
Blues will take it. It's a base runner.
It'll go down as an error. Blues are still hitless in the bottom of the fifth inning. But Mondu is awarded first base. And now the next step for San Luis Obispo is making that hurt.
Last time they reached on an error, it was Sebastian Lopez, and he was caught stealing on the first pitch to Owen Estabrook.
As here's Cooper Witten. He struck out swinging his last time up. Sends a ball and a diving stop from Kennedy. Wow, what a snag from the Texas shortstop.
Yeah, that was an incredible play. I mean, look at this, just reaching to his left, fully laying out. It was a pretty good piece of contact by Witten, but Kennedy said, not today.
Hit softly enough by Cooper Witten. I thought it had a chance to squeak into the outfield. But what an acrobatic attempt from D. Kennedy. That's the second out of this inning. Slider yanked in the dirt to Sebastian Lopez for ball one. As we said before, he reached on error his first time up back in the third inning and was eventually caught stealing. The only other base runner for San Luis Obispo today. 1-0 taken in the dirt to Lopez. Mondu with a very conservative lead at first base. Rocking the oven mitt on the left hand with a base of tape below.
I think it was a sinker.
Sent down the left field line and foul.
No move, no move.
And Sebastian Lopez. Lopez played for the Walla Walla Sweets last summer in the West Coast League. Only played in 3 games. Throw back to first was not in time. In those 3 games, he was 2 for 12, 2 strikeouts and 2 walks as a Sweet.
It's a fun team name.
Isn't it?
Yeah. The Walla Walla Sweets.
2-1 coming home. Slider missing inside, almost hitting Lopez in the hands for ball 3. They're called the Sweets because in that part of Oregon, they're known for growing their sweet onions.
Not what I would expect when I hear sweet.
Right? 3-1 slider in there for a strike. Typically with Oregon, I think pine trees, like snow, mountainous regions. Not a lot of crops.
Onions aren't the first thing that come to my
No.
mind when I think of Oregon.
Maybe eastern Oregon.
Yeah, maybe.
Payoff pitch to Lopez. Taps it straight back, staying alive. In a 3-2 count against the new pitcher, Jax Lewis. Two outs here in the bottom of the fifth inning. One runner on first base in Mondu, and there's ball 4. Second base runner of this inning for San Luis Obispo, and it comes through the base on balls to Sebastian Lopez.
Really good take by Lopez, and now he's reached base safely twice. See what Estabrook can do here with 2 outs and 2 on. It'd be awesome to get ahead early against this lethal Foresters team.
Lopez awarded first on the 2-out walk, and Estabrook, who struck out swinging last time up, wants to make this count. One look back to second for Lewis. He's still looking, now comes home, and Estabrook sends this one back and out of play for strike 1.
Estabrook, his last time out, struck out on 3 pitches, so looking to work a little bit of a count here, get ahead, and then rip something that touches down in that outfield grass and score Mondu from second.
In his upright stance, wants to figure out Lewis. He's got that 3-quarter delivery. 2 looks at second, and now he yanks that slider in the dirt. Good stop by Taman, keeping the runners at their stations.
Yeah, really good stop by Taman. Pick it on the backhand like he's a first baseman. Keeps the runners on first and second.
Lopez with his bright yellow oven mitt at first base. Mondu in the dark blue. 1-1 slider frisbees into the other batter's box. 2-1 to Estabrook. Owen celebrated a birthday yesterday, but he hasn't seen a competitive pitch in 8 days. He gets to start tonight batting in the 8 hole and catching for San Luis Obispo. He's got a chance to do some damage here with 2 outs. Nice pitch, fastball in there for a strike. Had a ton of movement on that one. Quite a bit of contrast from Mason Bixby, whose fastball was very flat. This one had a lot of cutting movement to it with that 3/4 delivery.
A little changeup there from Lewis.
2-2, another changeup in there for strike 3. So Owen Estabrook on his second strikeout of the day strands 2 runners. It's still scoreless heading into the top of the 6th inning. I'm Nate Mills with Ryan Giacomini on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. New pitcher in for San Luis Obispo. It's Marco Cipolla, the transfer portal right-handed pitcher who spent his first 2 seasons of college at University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, and a native from Independence, Minnesota. Rising junior will replace Cody Albright, who was just fantastic today. 5 innings pitched, just 3 hits allowed, no runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. As manager of the Foresters, Bill Pintard, having a passionate conversation with one of the field umpires down the third base line. Any clue what that could be about, Ryan?
The only thing I could maybe think is I saw Comerford run back to the dugout. It's the only thing I could think of is maybe he didn't. Comerford switched his glove or something. But
like maybe grabbed the wrong glove, and that was a very passionate conversation between Bill Pintard and the field umpire. As showing bunt is Drew Markle. He struck out and flew out to center field in his 2 at-bats today.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it until you said something and looked up as I was entering Cody Albright's stats. You know what's crazy about his appearance today?
As the 1-0 is sent in the center field, hit well, but enough space for E.J. Royal to come up with it after moving to his left. And there's the third out of the inning, or the first out of the inning, excuse me.
What's crazy about Cody Albright's day, he only gave up 4 base runners. You know what that means, though? His whip on the season goes up. He was coming into this game at a .5, and now he's at a .615.
Cancel the season.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing here?
Take him off the team. That's
Yeah.
too high. Unbelievable stuff and a great early summer for Cody Albright. First pitch sent into left center field. Witten calling off Royal. Taps his glove and makes the squeeze for the second out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out to Johnny Rodriguez.
Yes. I mean, Albright has been absolutely incredible. It's all together this year. He has 3 appearances, 3 starts, 1-1 record. He'll get a no decision for today's game. 13 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, but none earned. 3 walks, 21 strikeouts.
Wow. Whoever will be getting Albright next season will be a very lucky university. After 2 seasons in community college, looking for his next home as Smaldino swings and misses at that slider for strike 2.
I mean, imagine, too, if he can really this summer and going into the fall and the offseason work on that slider and incorporate it with that fastball. He's going to be disgusting.
0-2, and it plunks Smaldino in the elbow. So there's the third base runner of the day for, the sixth base runner of the day for the Foresters, and it comes on the hit by pitch from Smaldino. After striking out swinging in the second and reaching on error in the fourth, he's awarded first base on the HBP from Marco Cipolla.
Not what you want to do ahead in the count 0-2 is hit a guy.
First pitch, fouled out of play from Ryan Taman. He walked and struck out looking in his 2 plate appearances today. Taman, a catcher from Cal Berkeley, a 3-time letter winner with the Eagles at Arroyo Grande High School. Here he is on the 0-1, twitching at that fastball up in the zone for ball 1.
Really good take there from Taman. I mean, they're not seeing a huge velocity difference. Cipolla sitting around 90, Albright in the high 80s.
1-1 to Taman, taking all the way for ball 2.
So not a huge difference between these pitchers. Say, it looks like Cipolla's has a little more run to it, but not a significant amount more. And, I mean, they both heavily favor that fastball.
Big nod from Cipolla. He comes home. Taman sends this one in the air and just above the Blues dugout, out of play. And we'll do it again at 2-2. Taman last season up at Berkeley, 6 home runs, 2 doubles on 17 hits. He's got the juice, folks, as the wind blows out to left field and the outfielders play deep. Here's the 2-2, slider skipping in the dirt. That'll fill it up to Ryan Taman. 3 walks in 11 at-bats last summer with the SLO Blues. Only played in 4 games at Sinsheimer last summer. Here's the 3-2. As taken off for second base was Smaldino. And there's the third out of the inning after a swing and a miss strikeout. That's Sapilla's first of this game. Still scoreless. Going into the bottom of the 6th inning. I'm Nate Mills with Ryan Giacomini on the SLO Blues streaming network. 9-1-2 for San Luis Obispo as we enter the bottom frame of the 6th inning. And I'd like to remind you that this half inning is brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. You can find them at sdgarchitects.com. Studio Design Group Architects. For 40 years, they've designed buildings with one thing in mind: people. So Blanchette leads off the bottom of the 6th inning here for the SLO Blues as he swings and misses at that slider for strike 2.
Blanchette has the only home run on the season for the Blues. Ball that he got almost all of, a little bit underneath it, but it just carried out to left field, and it was a beautiful swing.
And he swings and misses for strike 3. So after grounding to first his first time up, Giovanni Blanchette goes down on strikes and will flip it to the top of the order. Last inning, Ryan, I want to look over that strikeout from the relief pitcher Marco Sapilla.
Yeah, here it is. It was a beautiful pitch. Just went with the fastball in. Got the swing and miss from Taman. Sit him down.
First pitch swinging from E.J. Royal, and he chops it right to the pitcher, and the throw almost goes awry, but it beats Royal just in time to record the second out of the inning. One pitch, second out for the Santa Barbara Foresters off the slow roller right in front of Jax Lewis. So now it's the 2-hole hitter, Jake Hicksonbaugh. He struck out swinging 2 times today, both against Mason Bixby. Now he gets a chance against his fellow Horned Frog here and Jax Lewis, as creeping in from third base was Daniel Patterson.
Patterson's been playing on the grass the whole time, or all game, I should say. Every at-bat Hicksonbaugh's been in.
Hicksonbaugh holds up on his swing and takes a look at strike 1.
Maybe expecting a bunt, but Hicksonbaugh's been swinging the bat pretty well. I don't see a reason why he would lay it down.
Hicksonbaugh this season batting .388 and 27 plate appearances with 4 RBIs heading into this game. And he was 2 for 3 in Game 2 against the Solano Mudcats. That's the last time he got a start for San Luis Obispo. Rocks in the left-handed batter's box. Here he is on the 2-1. Chops this one right in front of Rodriguez. He's got it on a nice candy hop, and he'll tap first for the third out of the inning. So the Blues go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 6th. We head to the final third of this game, scoreless, on the SLO Blues streaming network. 6-7-8 for the Santa Barbara Foresters in a scoreless game as first pitch swinging in a towering fly ball from Jesse DiMaggio. Calling everyone off is Cooper Witten. 1 pitch, 1 out. And back out there for his second inning of work is Marco Sapilla. And right away he records the first out of this inning. Sapilla, last time he came in, he got a fly out to center, pop out to left, a hit by pitch. And he cleaned it up with a strikeout from Ryan Taman. Jack Bollinger now. Huge cut at that fastball, swinging and missing for strike 1. Bollinger is 1 for 2 on the day. He got a single back in the 5th inning and was stranded at second base after some nice work from Cody Albright to leave the bases loaded for the Foresters. From the windup, taps this one right in front of Comerford. He flips it over to Sapilla, who wins the race against Jack Bollinger for the second out of the inning.
Really good job there from Sapilla to get over. I think Comerford would have had enough time to get the ball and then go back himself, but Sapilla already had the momentum going over to first base. Good flip from Comerford to Sapilla.
Might as well just use that momentum. He was going full speed ahead at first, like a horse running downhill towards the bag. And just like that, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning to Caden Peterson. Sapilla just missing on the fastball outside for ball 1. Peterson is also 1 for 3 on the day. He was stranded at first in that bases loaded situation. Left fielder for Santa Barbara waits from the windup on Sapilla. Softly hit over to Lopez, has to get it on the run, throw, and just wide left of Comerford. That's another extra base for Caden Peterson as he turns and will hold up there. So second throwing error of the day from Sebastian Lopez, but that was a tough play to make.
It was a tough play to make. I would have liked to see him just eat it, honestly. There was not a great play at first. I thought he was maybe going to go with the bare hand, but he tried to go with the glove and then transition. And I think if he goes bare hand, he has a better chance. Just had to throw kind of sidearm from the ground. Really tough play, but errors that just cannot happen. Those 90 feet are big.
And D. Kennedy wanting to make him pay here. And he recorded the second out of the inning with the bases loaded back in the 5th. But he wants some redemption here in this scoreless ball game. As Sapilla steps off the rubber, now checks back on. And, you know, Sebastian Lopez is still trying to get a hold of how this infield plays at Sinsheimer. As I'm sure you saw, the rolling came to a screeching halt as he was running towards the ball. I'm sure at Seattle University he's accustomed to a faster moving infield. 0-1 taken for strike 2. Yeah, at Seattle University, the Redhawks play on a turf surface, so I'm sure Lopez is used to those just skipping right to him. Here's the 0-2. Barely missing outside on the fastball for ball 1.
Really good pitch there from Sapilla. Just missed that outside corner.
Kennedy adjusts his sleeve, taps the bat over his right shoulder. 1-2, sent in the air and back out of play. We'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner on second, it's Caden Peterson after a throwing error from Sebastian Lopez. From the stretch, there's Sapilla. 1 look at second, now 2. Now comes home on the 1-2. Changeup barely missing for ball 2. Not exactly sure where that one missed. If I were to guess, I would say low in the zone.
It had to be low because it was right out over the plate. I mean, we're sitting directly behind home plate, so we can see left and right pretty good.
2-2, missing outside. Good stop from Estabrook on the backhand.
Now a little bit of a jam. You don't really want to have to face Patterson, who had 16 home runs this last season for his college team at Westmont.
You also don't want to put D. Kennedy on with his speed. But he will, as there's the 4th ball for the walk to D. Kennedy. First time Kennedy has reached base today, and we'll wait and see if that speed will be on display for the Foresters. So now it's 2 runners on for the aforementioned Daniel Patterson, who had some fun last season with the Warriors down at Westmont College with his 18 home runs. Sends this one to Lopez at third, and he'll just tap his bag with the force out. And then there's the third out of this inning. Santa Barbara Foresters leave 2 on base. It's still scoreless heading into the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch on the SLO Blues streaming network. Heart of the order for the SLO Blues, and what a time it's coming at as we are still scoreless through 6.5 innings at Sinsheimer as we approach 5:45 here in San Luis Obispo. Blues are also looking for their first hit of this game, and Jariah Lewis is looking to be the man to provide that here.
And the TCU righties are throwing a no-hitter through 6.
Huge cut at that breaking ball for strike 1 on Jariah Lewis. Lewis popped out to left and struck out swinging in his other 2 at-bats today. And led the Blues last season in home runs with 2. 1-1 to Lewis. Fastball in there for a strike. Scraping that outside corner, and Jariah Lewis is down 1-2. Lewis, a Blue last year, making his return to Sinsheimer. And on the 1-2, he chops it right in front of home plate. Coming on it is Lewis. He flips over to first to retire Jariah for the first out of this inning. So Jax Lewis retires Jariah Lewis, no relation, and now that gives way to Brendan Comerford, the first baseman for the SLO Blues, who struck out swinging and lined out to second base in his 2 at-bats today. First pitch swinging on the fastball up in the zone for strike 1. Big sweeping slider for strike 2, and that's another giant hack from Brendan Comerford.
Jax Lewis working really fast.
All of a sudden, as roping it down the left field line, and another spectacular play for the Foresters. Wow, what a snag from Patterson.
Yeah, this game should definitely not be a no-hitter, as we saw Kennedy steal a base hit last inning. And now, 2 innings ago that was, and now Patterson steals a hit.
And the Blues just cannot catch a break after the stellar defense from the Santa Barbara Foresters. That's 2 diving plays as this one sent into left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Braden Mondew breaks up the no-no as he cruises into second base with a 2-out double.
Really good piece of hitting there from Mondew. This guy has shown off his power this season. I mean, the guy is hitting .363 coming into this game, and now that's his 3rd extra base hit already. And this is just the 8th game of the season. 9th game, excuse me.
Sneakily having an excellent year is the infielder in the transfer portal, formerly at BYU. And he comes through with the first base hit this game for San Luis Obispo. And you can only hope for the Blues that this is the first domino to fall in a 2-out rally. 2 loud barrels in a row for the Blues, and it's Cooper Witten. Witten twitching at the plate, takes a look at the off speed for strike 1.
And that one from Mondu jumped off the bat, 93 miles per hour on the exit velo.
Yeah, burned over the head of Markle and Peterson. We're playing pretty shallow on Mondu. Huge cut from Witten for strike 2. Runner on second base, scoreless ball game. Blues just got their first hit from Braden Mondu, a double. And their second runner in scoring position this game. Cooper Witten wanted to do something about it. Here comes Lewis. Line down the left field line, but foul. Blues hitters have been loving that left field line despite the fact that these pitchers are throwing harder than anyone they've seen today. The right-handers just keep hugging the chalk.
Yeah, Witten was able to get the bat around and get the barrel on that one, but just yanked it down the line. Looking to put something in the outfield grass, break up this donut-filled scoreboard, put a crooked number up there.
Witten adjusts his batting gloves as Peterson retrieves the foul ball down the line. Right back to it as he taps home plate, adjusts the helmet, and we're underway. 0-2 again to the San Diego native, Cooper Witten. Runner on second base, Lewis with a long hold looking back at the 2. Comes home, holds up on his slider in the dirt, and that's taken for ball 1.
Beautiful take there from Witten. Thought about going red slider, held up. A really good job taking that pitch. I don't think there's any way he was going to be able to get the bat to that ball.
Yeah, it started in the middle of the zone and then it broke out of it, doing a great job of holding up on that. As the UW outfielder awaits Lewis on the 1-2 offering and a big swing and a miss for strike 3. So there's the third out of this inning. Braden Mondu gets stranded at second base off the first hit the Blues have this game. Still scoreless, heading into the 8th inning. I'm Nate Mills, joined by Ryan Giacomini on the SLO Blues streaming network. Two, 3-4 for the Forsters as Marco Cipolla heads back out there to face Santa Barbara in the scoreless ball game. As squaring up to bunt is Markle, and botching it on the transition is Cipolla. So a leadoff base runner off the bunt from Drew Markle. A runner on first here to get things going. And a real good idea here in a scoreless ball game. Forsters only have 4 hits. Could be worse. You could be the Blues and have 1 hit. But they're just trying to make anything happen right now as Markle has a huge lead over at first base. And Cipolla will face Johnny Rodriguez, who he retired in 1 pitch back in the 6th on a pop fly to left field. Throw, nice stop from Comerford at first base.
Markle is the first leadoff base runner for either team up to this point in the ballgame.
Just goes to show you the duel that we're seeing on the hill today at Sinsheimer. Cipolla throw back to first, not in time. Wants to keep checking on the go-ahead run over at first And Drew Markle, who's got a sizable lead over at first base.
Those big, long legs. He's probably pretty good at stealing bases, if I had to guess.
One stolen base last season at Ole Miss, as this one sent right back into the screen. And this is, of course, out of the 3 times he was on base with the Rebels. So really, if you do the math, 33% stolen base rate. 0-1 to Johnny Rodriguez with a runner on first base. Cipolla, 2 nods, comes home. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
I have a feeling that stolen base rate isn't quite as good as the guy who's standing about 60 feet to his right, and Jake Hixenbach, who has 11 already this season. He's only reached base 14 times. He has 11 stolen bases.
Coming set is Cipolla on the 0-2. Now home to Rodriguez, sent down the left field line off the diving attempt from Lopez. Coming around to third base is Markle. Here comes the throw, not in time. And there's a double from Johnny Rodriguez that gets things going for the Forsters with runners on second and third with no outs.
Now this becomes a huge couple of outs that Cipolla is going to have to work through. The Blues do have a righty in Eddie Tierney getting warmed up. And out comes Dean Traynor.
Dean Traynor wanting to have a talk with his former UC Colorado Springs Cougar as he gingerly steps over the line and heads towards the mound. And Rodriguez smoked that double down the line. Lopez wanted to take a page out of the book of Patterson, but it was just out of his reach, I'd say by half a foot.
Yeah, if that. If he just started half a step to his right, he probably makes the play fully extending to his right.
Tough break for San Luis Obispo, but not too much you can beat yourself over the head with, as that ball was just shot down the left field line. So now a little bit of a scary situation here for San Luis Obispo with the go-ahead run threatening 90 feet away, and that's Drew Markle, who advanced the third on that double. So it's Dominic Smaldino. He's reached base twice today for the Forsters off an error and a hit by pitch. And he takes a look at strike 1.
For the Forsters, exactly the guy you want up. Your 4-hitter who has flashed power, not today, but throughout his college career. Got the infield in, so anything hit hard on the ground will probably get through.
The lanky right fielder checks his swing, and it's in there for a strike. 0-2 to Smaldino, the rising sophomore at Berkeley. As the infield plays in with runners in scoring position and no outs. Outfield pretty deep out there in the grass. As this one's sent out there, E.J. Royal moving to his left, but calling him off is Jariah Lewis, and he can't make the grab. Coming home easily is Drew Markle as Jariah Lewis just clanked that fly ball off his glove.
Yeah, he was too concerned about getting the throw home, and an error brings the first run around for the Forsters.
And it's been said, ball first for this Blues defense. And here comes those errors biting them in the behind. One right there just brings across the first run of this game.
And again, for some reason, Bill Pintard is out talking to the umpire.
So is Dean Traynor.
Dean's probably asking if that was on the exchange. But I personally don't think it was, and I think that's what the base umpire is telling him as well. All of a sudden, it's a 1-0 ball game. There's still no outs. And runners on the corners, the Foresters are threatening. Looks like Dean's telling his middle infielders to back up, and they're going to sacrifice a run for 2 outs.
Yeah. No one going in the Blues bullpen right now as corners are in and Comerford holds on the runner at second who takes off. Hot sliding head first, and he's in there safely. Dominic Smaldino in there with a good jump and a stolen base for the Foresters. Once again, runners at second and third for the Santa Barbara Foresters. And this is where they want to make it hurt. Infield in now, 1-0 count. Fisted at Hicksonbaugh. He has to take 2 steps back, and there's the first out of the inning.
Good job there. Get the first out on some really soft contact from Taman. Now you got to deal with DiMaggio, who already has a base hit in today's game.
So Cipolla gets the first out of this inning. Runners still at second and third. And got bailed out from the extremely soft contact from Ryan Taman. And now getting crossed up on that breaking ball is DiMaggio for strike 1.
Now one of the biggest at-bats of the game right here. 1 out and 2 in scoring position. You need to get a second out via soft contact or a strikeout.
Taps it right side. Hicksonbaugh's got it. He comes home. Throw is up. And safe at home plate is Johnny Rodriguez. 2-0 Foresters. And Hicksonbaugh, nice velo on that throw and good snag from Estabrook, but can't help but think if it was a little lower, he would have less space to cover to get that tag down. And Dean Traynor out there talking with the home plate umpire, perhaps arguing the call at the plate.
Maybe it was definitely a close play, but a little too high of a throw by Hicksonbaugh. It's tough to tell if he got it down or not.
And from my vantage point up here, it looked like the runner, Johnny Rodriguez, got in there safely underneath the tag, because there was a lot of real estate that Estabrook had to cover to get it down. We're all in agreement that that will be the second run of this game. It's a 2-0 lead for Santa Barbara. And the nightmare continues for the Blues with runners on the corners. And Jake Bollinger now up for the Foresters. And ball 1 to the second baseman, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Got a base knock back in the 5th and was left alone at second.
Dean Traynor having a lot of faith in Cipolla, letting him work through this even after giving up the 2 runs.
Late on that fastball for strike 1.
Tierney's still standing up in the bullpen on the mound, but he's not throwing. His glove is often hanging on the fence next to him. I assume that he'll be the next arm that we see.
Speaking with catcher Nico Button. As here's the 1-1. By him on the fastball and caught looking is Estabrook, but he'll go back to third. And he's out. Nice heads-up play from Estabrook to throw out Dominic Smaldino at third base.
Yeah, really heads-up play. And I think what Smaldino was kind of jumping off for was the last time somebody stole, that was Markle, excuse me. Markle, or the throw went all the way down to second, got bobbled, and the run would have scored had the runner been a little more heads up.
Here's the 1-2, swing and missing for strike 3. So Cipolla minimizes the damage here, but the Santa Barbara Foresters do tack on the first 2 runs of this game. It's 2-0 Foresters heading into the bottom of the 8th on the Slow Blues streaming network. New arm for the Foresters as we enter the bottom frame of the 8th inning. It's Jake Fields in to relieve Jax Lewis, the TCU Horned Frog. As leading off for the Blues is Sebastian Lopez, who slapped down the tag for the second out of the inning to gun down Dominic Smaldino at third base. And he takes a look at the fastball for strike 2.
And the Blues have not been able to work counts at all. Get this, 72 pitches, excluding this at-bat, in 7 innings.
0-2 to Lopez is fouled back out of play. We'll do it again at 0-2.
Blues,
The Blues have just been getting beat on the velo. And the pitches that they're swinging at in the zone, they're not having at-bats where they're chasing a whole lot. They just can't seem to capitalize on anything in the strike zone. As right here, Lopez swings and misses for strike 3. That's his first K of the day. So Fields comes in after to relieve Jax Lewis. And the first guy he sees, he strikes him out. The final line on Jax Lewis, the right-hander went 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts.
it's a new batter, number 17, but we don't have his number on our roster.
Pinch hitter for San Luis Obispo, I believe that's Max Lane, the infielder from Harvard, making his debut for San Luis Obispo, coming into pinch hit for Owen Estabrook, who had 2 strikeouts on the day. Little Ivy on Ivy action here. Estabrook, a Columbia University Lion. And from Harvard University, it's Max Lane.
Makes me think that Tierney, who was talking to Nico Button, Nico might be our replacement defensively.
Fastball just missing outside to Lane, and he falls. He's now 1-2 in the count. Lane, a native of Newport Beach, he graduated Corona Del Mar High School, majoring in economics at Harvard. Here he is on the 1-2, swings and sends this one to left field. Pat Peterson going back, and he squeezes it for the second out of the inning. So some nice contact from the pinch hitter Max Lane, but there's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, put a really good barrel on that. And with how far in this infield has been playing, I thought that was going to get over the head of Peterson. Scorched off the bat.
So now it's the 9-hole hitter, Gio Blanchette. He grounded to first his first time up, struck out swinging. Also has the only home run for the Blues this year, as the worm burner gets away from Taman for ball 1.
That would be a great time to get the second hit of the day for the Blues. The red-hot E.J. Royal on deck.
1-0 to Blanchette, missing upstairs for ball 2. The Blues would just like to get anything going here to have an answer for the Foresters, who put up the first 2 innings of this game in the top of this inning. Back-to-back hits that both came around to score for Santa Barbara. 2-0, Blanchette checks his swing. Did he go? Yes. Gio couldn't hold up. And now it's 2-1 to the outfielder from Fresno City College. Doing the DHing today in the 9-hole. Here's the offering from Fields on the 2-1. Fastball just missing outside for ball 3. Blanchette might have got a call there, and he moves up 3-1 in the count. Blanchette sits still in the right-handed batter's box, and a fastball just missing outside again for ball 4.
Really good at bat from Blanchette, who has tons of speed over there at first. E.J. Royal, who's been hitting the ball exceptionally well. Comes into this game with 17 hits, 6 of which are for extra bases, and 14 RBIs.
Wants to continue his success here in the bottom of the 8th against the Foresters. As today he is currently hitless. A pop out to short, pop out to center, as the throwback is in time, or not in time, to Giovanni Blanchette. And a grounder back to the pitcher. So 0 for 3 to the Utah Tech Trailblazer. who was 2 for 5 with a double and a single last night. 2 stolen bags and 2 runs. 2-0 ball game in favor of the Forsters as the pitch comes in, and it's a strike to E.J. Royal.
I would really be surprised to see Blanchette take off for second in this situation. Although his run does matter, it doesn't matter that much because they're down 2 runs. You don't want to take second and make that out stealing and then lose the opportunity to score here and get one of those 2 runs back.
Pick back to first was not in time to get Blanchette as he has a pretty small lead over at first base. Fields, the dirtbag, kicks and fires over to Royal as he takes strike 2. Fields majoring in pre-business management at Long Beach State, entering his redshirt sophomore season from El Dorado Hills, California. Here he comes on the 0-2, swinging and missing, and strike 3. Down goes E.J. Royal. He strands Giovanni Blanchette at first base. We go to the top of the 9th. Blues trailing 2-0. I'm Nate Mills with Ryan Giacomini on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. New noodle in for San Luis Obispo as we enter the final inning in a 2-0 ball game in favor of the Santa Barbara Foresters. It's Eddie Tierney. He comes in to replace Marco Sapilla after going 3 innings, allowing 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, really good outing for Sapilla. Just gave up the 1 earned run, the couple of hits in the 8th inning, but outside of that, a really good job by him.
Showing bunt and getting it down is Peterson as the throw to first is not in time. Peterson on the first pitch shows bunt and nicely places it down the left field line. I thought that was a good throw from Tierney, but it wasn't in time to retire the left fielder batting in the 8th spot.
And a really good idea, though, by Patterson to lay down the bunt. He took note that in the last inning, Markle led off with a bunt for a hit, and he came around to score.
So the 6th hit of this game for the Foresters and a leadoff base runner for Santa Barbara. And after going this game with most innings not having a leadoff base runner 1, 2, 3 times, all via a single, the Foresters have done it here in the final 3rd frame of this game.
Tierney looking to keep it at just a 2-0 ball game. He did a good job his last time out. Just 1 appearance. He got the win in that game through 3 innings. No runs, no hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts.
And the Sidewinder rolls back out here today into relief, the 9th inning for the Blues. The medium-sized lead at first base is Peterson. Comes set, showing bunt is Kennedy. Tierney's got it. Throw over to first is in time. So the sacrifice bunt is successful for D. Kennedy, who surprisingly doesn't get to first base in time with that blazing speed. And there's the first out of the inning for the Foresters.
Interested to see now where Lopez is going to start over that third. 2 straight bunts. That one, I think D only got out because it was a little more back at Tierney. He didn't have to come too far off the mound to get it, but it was still a really close play at first.
So 1 out, runner at second base in Caden Peterson. Slider that went all the way across batter's box to batter's box, and it's in there for a strike. That sidewinding movement, short arm movement as well, and some wicked action from that slider by Tierney. 0-1, another slider missing downstairs for ball 1. I'm just gawing at that action that we saw on the first pitch slider from Tierney.
Yeah, and according to TrackMan, it only moved 11 inches, but I don't believe that whatsoever.
0-2, another slider in there for a strike.
I think it was closer to 21, if anything. I mean, that thing started behind the back of Patterson and was like out over the middle of the plate.
It's a right-handed hitter. That's really tough to do. It's going to look like it's going to hit you, and comes in there for a strike. Softly hits it to short. Mondu's got it. Throw over to first is in time for the second out of the inning. Caden Peterson stays at second base on the grounder to short from Daniel Patterson.
Now you're just an out away from getting out of this inning after the bunt single and then the sacrifice bunt.
Drew Markle, who showed bunt his last time he was up, comes up again for the Foresters. He got the 4th hit of the day for Santa Barbara and eventually came around to score the first run of the game. 2 looks at second for Tierney. Now comes home. Flying saucer taken for a ball. And with Caden Peterson at second base, he's getting no depth on his lead. When you have 2 outs and you're a runner at second, you want to make sure you're getting well behind the bag so you have enough space to round third. This one's hit to Mondu. He has to play it on the hop. Throw on the run is in time. Nice play from Braden Mondu on a tough grounder to retire the side. So the Blues got some work to do, trailing by 2 runs, heading into the bottom of the 9th. This is Nate Mills with Ryan Giacomini on the Slow Blues streaming network. New arm in the bottom of the ninth for the Santa Barbara Foresters as the Blues trail by 2 runs. It's Will Rogers, the former catcher and former Sun Devil, who eventually transferred to University of Michigan last year as a catcher, and he certainly did did damage in his time out there at Arizona State. He was one of their sluggers, averaging in the mid 300s, but ever since becoming a Wolverine, he's turned into a pitcher. 49 and a third innings pitch out there in Michigan, as there's a pinch hitter for Jake Hicksonbaugh. It's Jordan Lewis, the outfielder from Santa Clara College.
Tough to come off the bench in the 9th inning and get it done, but that's what the Blues are asking of Lewis right here. You got Jordan in the box and Jariah on deck.
Swinging and missing at that slider for strike 3. There's the first out of this inning on 4 pitches to Jordan Lewis. Will Rogers, in his first season full-time pitching at Michigan, had 49 and a third innings pitch, a 1.41 whip, 7.3 strikeout per 9. Trying to get his feet underneath him heading into his senior year at Michigan. Under recruiting coordinator Ben Greenspan, he went with him after Greenspan left Arizona State. And he's 1-0 against Jariah Lewis, who's hitless on the day. Checks his swing, didn't go around, and it's taken for a ball.
Looks like Rogers was a two-way over there at Michigan as well. Hit pretty well, 256 average, 8 home runs, 27 RBIs.
8 home runs, nothing to scoff at here for the kid. Fist it straight back and out of play for strike 1 to Jariah Lewis. Lewis popped out to left, struck out swinging, and grounded to the pitcher in Lewis his last time up. 2-1 count to Jariah. Missing upstairs on the fastball. 3-1 to the right fielder who scorched a triple yesterday late in the ballgame against the Santa Maria Indians. Part of that 8-run rally. 3-1, holds it up, and there's ball 4. So a 1-out base runner for the Blues, and it couldn't be a better guy. Jariah Lewis, who had 15 stolen bases last summer for the Blues, that led the team. He's now on first with Brendan Comerford up.
Yeah, really fast over there, now on first base. Comerford, who has a ton of extra base hits, looking to get one here in a big spot.
Last time Comerford was up, he lined out to third at Patterson, who made a spectacular grab as he bloops this one up, still in play, and now sneaking into the Blues bullpen for strike 1. And Ryan, you were talking about the stolen bases that Hicksonbaugh has. I'm aware that in pregame you brought up that number to Lewis, who led the team in stolen bases last season, and went, oh yeah, I can beat that.
Yeah, Hicksonbaugh already with 11 this season, which is super impressive. Jariah with a ton of speed.
Slider missing the dirt. Nice scoop from Taman, and it keeps Lewis at first base.
I have a feeling, though, right here we're not going to see Jariah pick up his first stolen base of the season. As I mentioned kind of in the last inning with Blanchette, that run doesn't matter too much.
1-1 slider, nice movement on it, but it misses away for ball 2.
Obviously, Jariah has to come around to score if the Blues want a chance to win this game, but the tying run is at the plate, so him being patient over there is going to be crucial. Getting thrown out at second is the last thing you want to happen here.
Throw to first is not in time to get Jariah Lewis. Last season, Will Rogers started at catcher in the first game that the Blues had against the Foresters at Sinsheimer. He's taken out for second is Lewis, and he was running in quicksand, head for slide, and he somehow makes it in. Not sure what happened on those first 4 steps from Jariah Lewis, but he seemed to be running in place and still somehow managed to swipe the bag.
We mentioned ton of speed, but I just don't understand why you steal in that spot. I mean, imagine if he makes a second out there. Now you're in a 2-2 count with 2 outs. You're 1 strike away from losing this ball game.
Not only that, but if you feel a bad first step and you're a base runner there, you shut it down immediately. That's what you're coached. 2-2. Slider missing way upstairs. Now full count to Brendan Comerford. Hey, but it paid off.
Yeah, got there, and now you have a runner in scoring position. I think that's only the second time the Blues have had a runner in scoring position this game. Third time, excuse me.
Payoff pitch to Comerford, blown right by him for strike 3. He rests the bat on top of his head as he stomps into the dugout after recording the second out of this inning and his second strikeout of the day.
It all comes down to Braden Mondu, who you mentioned the last time up. He's been quietly one of the better hitters in this lineup coming into this game. Guy's hitting 363, 10 RBIs, 8 hits, 8 walks as well. So he's getting on base a 5.16 on base percentage.
Also has the only hit of the day for San Luis Obispo with that double back in the 7th inning. He was stranded after Cooper Witten struck out. First pitch strike here as he fouled that one out of play. With 2 away here with the Blues trailing by 2. Six hits, 2 runs for the Foresters. 1 hit, no runs for the Blues. Mondu wanted to change that here with his second knock of the day. 0-1, tapped in front of home plate. A lot of time for Patterson to come get it with the bare hand. He can't make the play. Daniel Patterson on the high bouncing ground ball that died on the infield grass. Tried to get it over to first with his bare hand. And that's the second hit of the day for Braden Mondu. Also the second for the SLO Blues.
He has both of them. His base hit here in the 9th, a double in the 7th, and now the Blues are really in business. You have the tying run on third base, the winning run in the box, and Cooper Witten. And Cooper Witten has the power to end this game. You mentioned earlier, a 111-mile-an-hour home run at UW.
Fastball upstairs to Witten as he digs a deeper hole in that right-handed batter's box. 2 craters for his 2 feet. As he digs in here, hitless on the day with 2 strikeouts and a line out to short. 1-0 to the UW Husky. Here it comes. He has to tuck his hands away out of that fastball for ball 2. Witten in his Blues debut adjusts the batting gloves as the pitching coach for the Foresters comes back out to check on Will Rogers. Runners at the corners for San Luis Obispo. It's Braden Mondu who reached on that infield single off the Daniel Patterson misplay. And the walk from Jariah Lewis, who stole second base.
$1,401 fans here at Sinsheimer, hoping that the Blues can bring it around here in the 9th.
That pitch is missing downstairs to Cooper Witten. 3 straight balls to the left fielder from Washington. Looming on deck is Sebastian Lopez, the Seattle University Red Hawk. Here's Witten on the 3-0, taking all the way for ball 4. Bases are juiced for the third baseman.
And that's an incredible at-bat there from Cooper Witten. Not only does it put the winning run on base, but it puts the tying run in scoring position.
Huge moment for San Luis Obispo here with 2 outs. And we'll see if the Henderson, Nevada native can capitalize on his first night in front of 1,400 fans in San Luis Obispo. Lopez, hand squeezing against his ear, and he takes a look at strike 1. Lopez in his freshman season at Seattle University had 2 hits. One of them was a double, a 1 RBI double here for the Redhawks. From the windup, here's Rogers, quick pitching and sending it into center, but not before Kennedy can make the grab. D. Kennedy with the nice wheels, and the robbery from Sebastian Lopez ends this ball game. And there's the 3rd loss of the season for the SLO Blues, and it comes off the hands of a very tight-knit dub for the Santa Barbara Foresters.
Yeah, I thought that ball had a chance to get up the middle. Mondu was out there at second getting a gigantic lead with no hold. Thought that was going to get through and bring around Mondu, tie this ball game up, send us into extras, or possibly even win it here in the ninth.
And Ryan, this game was just a classic pitchers duel. Great starters in Mason Bixby and Cody Albright. Albright just continues to impress for San Luis Obispo, and you just hope he can keep that pace up for the Blues as we start to play more conference games.
Yeah, he's been absolutely dominating in this preseason and now in this first CCL game. 21 strikeouts in 13 innings is pure dominance. A 1-on-1 record. He gets a no decision today. But really, honestly, a great game all around. Just had that the 2 hits in the 8th inning that really spoiled the game.
Yeah, and the Blues offense struggled today after throwing up 10 runs yesterday against the Santa Maria Indians. Bit of a different level of competition today for the Blues, and they've really had to adjust to that. Going forward, they're going to have to make multiple tweaks up there at the plate if they want to stay successful.
Yeah, I think one thing they can work on for sure is working the pitch count. I mean, Bixby threw 51 pitches in 4 innings. Lewis threw 21 pitches in 3 innings. I mean, that is just straight up dominance from Lewis. Fields threw 16, and then Rogers with about 20 in that last inning.
Well, there was a bright spot today for the Blues offense. Braden Mondu was able to strike across 2 hits in today's ball game. He's the only player in the Blues lineup to record even just 1 hit. And he was eventually stranded at second base from that lineout from Sebastian Lopez, who made his debut today. More players to come for the Blues. The reinforcements are starting to pile in for San Luis Obispo. And as we head into CCL play, you can't help but wonder what their impact will be. We saw Max Lane come in to pinch hit for Owen Estabrook in Ivy League on Ivy League action. We also have Woo-Sung Park from Michigan and Bradley Navarro coming in as well. And Taylor Holder, who's been sitting on the bench for these past 2 games, we know what he is capable of. So these new guys unlocking their potential is going to be crucial coming down the stretch for the Blues.
Yeah, we've been watching all these new guys in batting practice the last couple of days, and especially Park has really caught our eye. Hitting coach Rene Regalado was saying that at practice on Thursday, he was kind of looping his hands around and not making great contact, couldn't get the ball out of the infield, And then in batting practice yesterday, we saw him hit a ball over the fence, which we don't see a lot here at all, even in batting practice. And then today he smashed the wall in right field going the opposite way without a hop or nothing. So really exciting things to look forward to from the Blues. Just need to clean it up a little bit. I think the errors were the biggest difference in this game. 2 errors, and they brought across one of the 2 runs for the Foresters.
So the Blues get shut out for the first time this season in their 3rd loss, coming from the Santa Barbara Foresters. They will return tomorrow at a 2 p.m. start against the Santa Maria Indians on a Mimosa Sunday. Be sure you head out to Sinsheimer to reap those benefits at the ball game and drink some tasty mimosas. But if not, Ryan and I will be right back here on the YouTube stream on the Slow Blues streaming network. For now, have a great rest of your day. The Blues dropped this one 2-0 to the Santa Barbara Foresters. For my color commentator, Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills, signing off on the Slow Blues streaming network.